My name is Michael Ma. I'm the Vice President of Information Technology for Spark Power. Spark Power provides electrical contracting, installation, as well as operations and maintenance for industrial facilities, renewable assets, and OEMs. We have a broad number of field technicians, and so we use FieldAware to schedule and dispatch jobs to all of our field technicians across North America. It was really important for us as part of our standardization program to have a solution that works for all of our lines of business, both in US and Canada. And we really needed to standardize the way we capture time, the way we capture our tasks and our statuses in a consistent manner across the organization. We went live with our entire US operations at the end of 2022. And so that has rolled out, and we are in the process of rolling out across our Canadian divisions. Initially, it's always a little bit rocky, but I would say it's been positive. We've had positive responses from both our people managers, our project managers, and actually our field technicians who said the mobile app is very useful. It's quite intuitive, and what we're asking them to do is quite straightforward. This was a pretty large change for our technicians. Originally, they were submitting weekly timesheets, and now we're truly asking them to capture their time right on the spot at the job site, right before they leave or right when they arrive first thing in the morning. So it has been quite a bit of a change management exercise. But once folks get used to punching in and punching out from their clock, it seems to be a relatively smooth process. Better understanding of our resource utilization. People are our largest cost, and we want to make sure they're deployed as optimally as possible. Understanding where our resources are. We have job sites right across the country, and so it's important to know where they are at any point in time. And from an employee satisfaction perspective, it's really important to give them comfort. They know what they're going to be working on throughout the week. They want to ensure that they're fully utilized, fully booked. And so it's really important to give that visibility, not only to our project managers, but also to the employees themselves. I think that the biggest thing is we are now able to produce utilization reports to really understand how much billable time, which is the most important thing as a company, but also non-billable time, how much time they're spending on travel, how much time they're spending non-billable meeting training, or whether it be safety training or system training. So it's really important for us to best utilize our finite resources, especially in a market where finding good tradespeople are really hard right across North America. It's about simplicity, using the mobile app. So whether you're an Apple user, an Android user, it is the consistency in the user experience in terms of capturing time and understanding what tasks they're being assigned. Integration to our ERP system. So every time the time is captured or a status or task is captured, that is integrated directly into our NetSuite ERP system, which allows our project managers better insight, more real-time access, and really around scheduling and dispatching. I think all of our branch offices used to be doing it differently historically, and so we have a little bit more standardization. And since Spark was grown through acquisition, we had a number of companies or a number of branch offices doing it a little bit differently. And so the standardization really will encourage other branches to share resources and to do in a consistent manner so that we have the right metrics, the right reporting, that we can evaluate how our business is truly doing. It is really our branch managers, our regional managers, and certainly our senior managers. So our senior leadership team now has insight to utilization for all of our employees who are using FieldAware. And so it's been really important for them to have a common understanding, because the way our projects are dispatched now and scheduled, we have estimates about how much time they should be spending at the job site. And so this really gives us better insight in how we can most effectively deploy our resources. And as I mentioned, people are our biggest resource for the company. We have 400 technicians on the FieldAware platform. Our Canada launch will be double that. So we'll have another 800 technicians to come onto the platform. And so like I said, we're about 400 active field staff using the solution today. I think, while we can't necessarily quantify exactly how much time is being saved, for example, a project manager trying to find which resources are available. but we can certainly say that it's much easier to have that conversation, especially amongst project managers, to say, hey, I need someone to do this specific task, especially across branches. So if I'm in my Houston office and I need someone who's going to be based for a project in Dallas, they can actually call up the Dallas branch manager and say, hey, looking at the schedule, there's someone available. So that's inherently saving time for managers to speak to one another. I'd say as we move forward and we really understand and get everybody, the rest of the organization, onto the platform, this will, I think, exponentially kind of reduce the amount of time that our managers are spending having to call up and find out, hey, is someone available, as opposed to just going into one pane of glass to see where that is. Secondly, I would say, our plan is not to just focus just on our workforce, but ultimately we plan to schedule all of our assets, all of our fleet vehicles, all of those solutions through FieldAware to truly understand how we're utilizing and where we should be deploying these kind of assets, such as not just people, but also vehicles, fleet, heavy equipment, and what have you. People were doing it in Excel or in a notebook or the back of a napkin, or really just based on calls, right? If, depending on what's happening. And so we really found that at least standardizing on this platform will really help drive, consistency and people saying, yeah, let's use the scheduler to truly figure out how do we most effectively deploy our resources. We're launching a new strategy, 3-year strategy, which really focuses on how workforce planning, continuous improvement, operational excellence. And so that really focuses on how do we take our finite resources and utilize them more effectively? So Live Map will be now displayed in all our branch offices so we can see where our job sites are, where our resources are deployed. We are incorporating drive time calculations. So to help, how do we plan where our technicians need to go? If their job sites are all geographically located within 20 miles, then it makes it easier for us to plan what their routes are going to be. And more effectively, we can look at integrating with more of our systems. So our health and safety systems to make sure that we're incorporating and reducing the amount of double keying or double entry into our future platforms and future applications. Once our workforce is our largest cost, but our next largest cost would be our fleet vehicles. And so how do we effectively deploy our fleet? When do we need to start moving them and shifting away? I know planning mode would be a great way to help do that what if analysis, which we really truly haven't focused on as part of our initial deployment. And so there are a lot of features and functionality that we want to be able to use. Obviously, this collects a lot of data. All that data we want to push into our Power BI and our business intelligence systems to do better forecasting and planning as we come up to the next, the end of our next fiscal year, and we have to plan for what we're going to be doing next year. It starts all the way at the top as we were starting to do the initial demos and evaluations of a field service management solution, and it's been they have been completely open, transparent, and clear about some of the capabilities and some of the successes with that we should see, working right through to the transition to support. Now that we have our U.S. operations, we continue to use FieldAware support for questions, clarifications, new releases, which are always coming down the pipeline as part of the product roadmap. So we've had good experiences, both from the implementation side as well as from the support side. I think the sheer power and simplicity from a user experience standpoint, but the power of, the integration capabilities with an ERP solution, the ability to capture a lot of data and utilize that data in a lot of ways. I think there are infinite possibilities once we've captured the data and use it consistently to power decisions in the future or leverage further functionality in the system. And so I think we've only scratched the surface at this point. And in a services business such as us, where resource planning is so important, I think it is truly a tool that we should be using and they could have used a lot earlier. We're only scratching the surface of realizing a lot of the power and benefits, but we foresee at this point we'll be able to scale closely with the business, and the business hopes to scale as we move forward. And so we need a platform that can do that, and we're fully believe that the FieldAware NetSuite solution as a base platform will help us and support us moving forward. I think with the GPS Insight, it's going to be a lot of there's a lot of power now that there's a good partnership and good relationship there. So, I look forward to what the future brings, and I'm sure there's lots of opportunity for all sides.